You may know me as Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter on my social media accounts, either from Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter Takes on Arrivals in WWE skit series that I've created, or as the general and leader of the Happiness Fighters Army, which is a community or an army for people that have been destroyed by their own darkness and lost their happiness and their joy and dreams and hoping. And in this army, we fight for happiness, our dreams, our successes against our own version of our own darkness, be it mental health, physical health, life situations, or just the big bad world right now. And yeah, so not many people know the person behind Hobbsy. And I want to share with you guys today who I am behind Hobbsy. Because Hobbsy is like my alter ego, what I would love to be in this world. And the real me is far from this. I'm getting there closer and closer these days, but it's far from it. I've been on a hell of a roller coaster of a mental health journey with my mental health and physical health of late. And I just want to share this with you guys, so then anyone that is feeling the same way or is just feeling like their own darkness is taking over, just making them feel like they're not alone in this world, that we all have our own form of our own darkness, like I said, be mental or physical, or life situations of the big bad world right now. And sometimes it takes over our lives and makes us lose who we are. And yeah, I just want to share how my own darkness made me feel this way for 10 years of my life, and how only now in these past 2 years, as I work on my body and my mind, I become the best version of me I could be so far. So with that, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Now, my name isn't actually Hobbsy. That is a nickname given to me by a fellow high school student when I was in high school 10 plus years ago, and it's just stuck ever since. I like the name. Initially it was spelled with an S, I spell it with a Z, it just sounds and looks so much cooler. And my actual name is Joy Hobbs. That's where the Hobbsy comes from, because my actual last name is Hobbs, and it's spelled like Luke Hobbs from Hobbs and Shaw, played by Dwayne The Rock Johnson, who is actually a fellow Happiness Fighter Army member. And he just made the Hobbs name so cool, so I was like, yes. But it's also ironic that my first name is the thing that I'm fighting for the most in this life right now, and that is joyness and happiness. And yeah, I have not felt like this for most of my life. Don't get me wrong, I did have joyful moments and happy moments, but most of it was just plagued by my darkness of my mental health, which be depression, anxiety, and social anxiety. And yeah, I just didn't feel like the name I was given, Joy. And now, only as I come out of it, I know why my mother named me this and why God sent her that name. Let's just put it as that. But we're getting too far. We're going to go way back to the beginning. Back to when little Joy was a little girl and couldn't stop smiling and had that nickname of Smiley because she would smile so much. And this is her. I had blonde hair, and I wish I could get back to that blonde, but I will never unless I dye it. So, but this version of me was so happy, hadn't been plagued by her own darkness yet. As someone that being raised by a single mother on the financial Australian welfare system called Centrelink in Australia, and living in community housing, and also as a father that did not want her before she was even born. So that, first off, did play with my mind growing up later on in life. But for my childhood, I had a really great childhood. I had friends here and there, but no one I really could hang out after school with a lot. in my childhood. I spent most of my childhood with my soul sister, which basically is my third cousin. Yeah, third cousin, because my mum and her dad are second cousins, and then he married my mum's best friend from high school, so the families were always close. We grew up together. I slept over their house. They would come to my birthdays when I had parties, which I haven't had a birthday party since I was 10 years old. A proper one, let's just say that, and that really messed with my psyche as well. But yeah, I just had a really great time. I also had a dog named Lucky growing up from when I was 8 all the way up to 2017 when he passed on, because I actually had to put him down because I just didn't want to see him in pain, and that was hard for me because he was like my go-to therapy at that time, and I regret not paying more attention to him when I had him around. But yeah, my childhood was pretty awesome. There was moments where I wish I had things that other kids had, but I knew that we just couldn't afford it, and I have no regrets over that. I did feel like as a kid I had to grow up pretty quick and become more mature than I would have liked to be as a kid, but overall my childhood was pretty okay. It was the teenage years that really got to me. Now, I wasn't really diagnosed with depression, anxiety, and social anxiety until I was in my 20s after I left high school. And if I had known that back when I was a teenager, it would have helped me so much, because even though I had friends at high school and that, I didn't really have many friends to hang out at after high school. Sometimes I'd get in fights with them because of my mental health, and I would sit alone at lunch and recess. I would move friend groups to friend groups to friend groups, and yeah, to all those friends, thank you for putting up with me when I was just at my darkest. And sorry if any of this caused you any harm in any way. And my friends didn't really see the true side of me. There was only one that did, but most of the time there was two sides of me when I reached high school. There was the shy, depressed, didn't want to be here version of me that people saw at high school, and then when I was around home, I was more outgoing, confident, cheeky, and yeah, I just didn't have that confidence to show that side of me at school. Slowly near the end of high school, that did come out, but for most of my high school years, I felt like I was living two lives. And yeah, it got to the point where I didn't want to live anymore. I didn't want to be around because I would see my friends be normal. I would see them looking pretty. By the way, by the time I reached high school, I had astigmatism, which is basically what I have now, which means I have to wear glasses for the rest of my life. I had psoriasis, which now I know is a psychological condition, also while being a physical condition. And yeah, I had those two, so I didn't like my body. I didn't feel comfortable. I just didn't feel comfortable in my own body, and to put myself out there to find someone. Also, at this time, I hadn't come out of the closet, so I had just basically given up on love when I was, I'd say 15, 16, I gave up on love. To the point that I was like, I didn't want to be in love. I was just happy being me. And that also got to me as well. And it annoyed me that I could see my friends living a normal teenage life and I couldn't. And yeah, all that just combined in me either not wanting to be here or too scared to commit the act of suicide and thinking of this stuff, or of I wish I had cancer. Because I thought in my head, if I had cancer, then people would pay attention and show love to me and notice me and remember me too, which that is just a messed up thought to have. And if anyone has this thought and doesn't have cancer, go seek help. And in the end, I did seek help from the school because of one of my friends. She picked up on the signs, tricked me into going to see the school's counsellor, saw her for a couple of years. It sort of worked, but it just was not enough, basically. I remember one time I actually had a mental breakdown at school. Not to the point where any people had to be called. It was just I was arguing with said friend that actually tricked me into going to the counsellor. That was an issue. It was a separate issue. I won't say what it is. And we just had a fight, and it was business. And yeah, it was business week that week, so we had to basically be in a small group of fellow students, come up with a business idea, and project our idea to the teachers at the end of the week. And it had just been the presentation, so we were just chilling out, hanging out. We couldn't leave school, which would have helped, but we couldn't. And I had just gotten into a fight with said friend, like I said, and I just went back to our classroom where my group, which I had no friends in my group, was coming up with ideas, and just cried my eyes out. I didn't want anyone to see me cry. I'm one of these people that I don't like people seeing me cry. I feel like I have to do it all myself. And I was bottling everything up, and it just came all out. And then one of my friends actually came over, checked on me. We had a chat. She told me what's going on in her life, her struggles, and it just really made me feel better. And that friend ended up becoming a really good friend to me in the later years of my high school years, because she was actually friends with my soul sister's family, so she knew who I was outside of school. She was the only one that really probably truly saw who I was outside of school and could see who I was when I wasn't hiding it, and saw me for me before I even saw myself. I will admit that. And we kept being friends. There was times where we have our fights, and because the other friends didn't like her, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, but I just still became a friend, and we were friends for a while after high school as well, but we grew apart basically. She had her life, I had mine. Mine sucked, let's just put it at that. And because of my darkness of my mental health and not feeling like I'm getting anywhere in life, I felt like I was losing her. Like I lost all my other friends after high school, mainly because I just didn't keep in touch with them, or I just thought there's no point. And it got to the point where I actually messaged her one day and said to her, it feels like I have to just stalk you, which is the wrong words I should have used, to keep an eye on you, because I am one of those friends that I care about my friends so much that I want to make sure they're okay, they're happy, they're healthy, and if not, I want to help them out, pick them up, sort of thing. And yeah, let's just say that caused a big fight. We didn't speak ever again, and I went down a dark hole of mental health. Let's just say that. And I ended up stalking her because even though she wasn't talking to me, I still cared about her. There was moments and times where I was like, I don't need her, sort of thing. But then I was like, I cared about her. I'm going to fix things with her, because I thought in my head, if I fix things with her, then my life will get better, which is the wrong thinking now, I know. And yeah, it's got to the point now that I've burnt that friendship bridge, or my half of it anyway. And there's no point of return for us being ever friends. And it's only as I've worked on my body and my mind that I've finally gotten over her. So to her, I am truly and utterly sorry for any mental health or any pain that I've caused you mentally with posting things about you online and your name and all that. I will not do that in here. I'm just calling you my ex-best friend. That's it. And if anyone is watching this and knows who she is, do not tag her in this. That's how much over I am about her. I'm only talking about her because she is part of my mental health journey. Because I had to lose her to find out what type of friend I am and what I'm looking in a best friend. And that is someone like my soul sister, who's like my ride or die, puts up with my bull crap of mental health, physical health, knows how to cheer me up when I'm sad, is just there for me when I need him, and just gets me. So, and if it wasn't for her, I would have no friends at all. But because of her, I have at least one friend in this world, and I'm okay with that. And yes, I would like to have more friends in this world, but it's just the energy and the time, and I'm in my 30s now, and I just don't have that time to be social anymore. Especially with social anxiety, my social battery can either be I'm really social, I want to be out there, or I just don't want to be social, I just want to be left alone. And I know this isn't good for my social mental health, we'll put it as, and this is something that I'm still working on to this day. But with this, it's something that I have to do in my own time. Because if I do it not in my own time or my own way, it just won't work. Now, around this time also, I had got onto the welfare financial system in Australia called Centrelink, like my mum, because once you turn 16, you can get Centrelink if you meet the requirements, which I had, but since I left school, I had to either do some sort of learning or find a job in the payment I was getting. So I was in that sort of system of being on that sort of payment and then getting a job provider, which over the last, say, 10 plus years, I've had about probably 10 or more work providers, and the mental health struggle with that is a nightmare, and the whole being on the Centrelink system is a nightmare as well, because you feel like you're getting somewhere and then you don't, or you feel like you're getting somewhere and then they pass you on to a new one, and then you have to start all that over again and tell them what jobs you want, what you're looking for, and when you don't know what you want to do in life, that's very stressful. So I got frustrated with that for the last 10 years. And that plus having no friends, plus still living with your mother because you're too scared to move out, which I wish I'd moved out in my 20s. I really do, before the global pandemic. Would have been much cheaper. And I am still living with my mum now. It's only because I can't afford places to rent on my own, because I don't want to live with somebody. So all that combined, no wonder my mind went to shit. Plus, in this time, I had got more health issues in flat feet, which runs in the family. I had also got bronchitis asthma, which I still got. Also with the flat feet, I still got that as well. What else? There's a long list of stuff. A long list of health issues I have. I'm just trying to remember them all. PCOS as well, I was finally diagnosed with, which is polycystic ovary syndrome, which basically, in a nutshell, messes with my hormones if I don't eat right and I don't put the right things in my body. That's what I see it as. There is an actual meaning for it. Go Google it. And it is also a psychological issue as well. And it's a chronic disease, so I will never escape this. I'll have this for the rest of my life. Also, I was seeing my ex-high school friends getting married, having kids, being successful in their life, and I was still stuck where I was once I left high school. So this all got to me, plus my body image issues and my food issues as well, which is related to my PCOS now that I know, because of I had being overweight. Also, I am a binge eater. I emotionally eat my emotions in the past. Still do these days a little bit, but it's only when things get really tough. And I know this is wrong, but this is just how my brain is wired. So all that combined, no wonder your girl just lost herself, lost hope, lost the art to dream, and then you put a global pandemic into that, it makes everything 10 times worse. To the point that I was, by the time we reached 2022, I had been starting to eat the wrong foods for my PCOS, which is like ice cream, a lot of gluten, a lot of dairy, a lot of chocolate, which I know isn't good for my hormones, but as a chocoholic, I just could not go without it. A lot of sweets. I was even starting to get addicted to Hydrolyte, because I had this one time when I wasn't feeling so well and I had passed out. That's another health issue I have. Heat stroke, which is basically if I get too hot, I pass out. And then I just feel icky afterwards. So I'd had some Hydrolyte to feel better, and I just continued on going to the point I was having a Hydrolyte ice block every day, even if it wasn't summer. And then I was also starting to take Panadol as well every day, because I just wasn't feeling 100%. I was low in energy, and I thought this was making me feel better. But I now know that was not the case. It was actually making me feel worse. And at the start of 2022, your girl blacked out. Now, if anyone with chronic diseases or chronic illnesses has ever blacked out by themselves, they know how scary this can be. Because in the past, when I black out, I've either had someone with me or my mum's been there, and to reassure me, to make me feel better mentally, and not to feel so alone. But this time, in this case, I had actually passed out by myself. Every time I pass out, I don't remember passing out. Still to this day, I don't remember. All I remember is getting dizzy and hot, and that's it. My mum, in the past, when I have blacked out, she has said my eyes do roll a bit, and yeah. And so I woke up from it, and I was feeling sore because I had actually cut my lip, sort of, when I went down. So I slowly but gently got up, turned the shower off, slowly sort of made it to the toilet. Thank God the toilet's like on the other side of the shower. So yeah, and let's just say your girl couldn't eat anything or keep anything down for the next 24 hours, and then spend the rest of the week on the couch. And eventually I did get a bit better and got food and got fluids into me, but I was still feeling run down and lethargic. And yeah, I was just like, nah, I'm not having any of this. I'm going to go see a doctor. So I saw my doctor, got some blood done, and got the wake-up call I needed really badly. So when my results came back, the doctor basically said that I had non-alcoholic fatty liver, which is basically me eating too much, like too much fat going on into my liver. And also high blood pressure. And when you had grandma die from heart conditions, that's not what you want to hear. Also, I had a vitamin D deficiency at that time. Later on, I did pass out in about a year's time and got another vitamin deficiency in B12 and had to take tablets, and still taking tablets for those. But those main three were the ones that kicked me into gear to the point that I just feel so much better physically and mentally. And at the time, the doctor said you need to lose 10% of your body weight to reverse the liver, basically. She said get 15 minutes of sun, 15 minutes of walking, and work on your diet, which I have. More so with the social media's help than at the actual doctor's help. So that says something. And yeah, I've got past that 10% and more, to the point that I have lost since early 2022 to now roughly over 40 kilos. Because when that happened, I weighed 141.9, so 149 kilos. And now I weigh 97-ish kilos. Some days it's back up to like 99, some days it's down. That's just the PCOS way, and if I've eaten too much. But yeah, and I'm proud of myself for this, because I've never, as far as I know, been under 100 kilos. And I'm finally loving my body. Yes, I still have psoriasis scars and PCOS, acne, and hair everywhere, but I love that. I'm taking charge of what is scarring me and making it into what's beautiful. I don't wear much makeup because of this. I just don't feel comfortable wearing makeup. The closest to makeup I get is a little bit of lip. That's it. Because if someone's going to love me, they're going to love me for who I am and the way I look. But recently I've been thinking I should wear a bit more makeup and get confident in that. But I'll do that in my own time. So that's my physical journey in the last 2 years. I'm loving that, and I'm still keeping it up to this day. But mentally, back in 2022, after that, I just felt stuck mentally still. Even though I was working on my body, mentally I just felt stuck. I just didn't know where to go. I just didn't know who I was. And then I was watching WWE wrestling, which I've watched since I was 8 years old. Gave up in high school because it was starting to affect my grades and my friends didn't think it was cool. And if you're a WWE fan and you are like this, don't give it up. It's starting to get cool again. And if you love it, you should watch it. If your friends don't, that's their problem, not yours. And then I got back into it in my 20s again, let's just say. And it was one of the things that was keeping me going, keeping me alive, bar my family. So. And I was watching WWE, and it was the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam 2022, after Bianca Belair had defeated Becky Lynch, and Bayley and Damage Control had just come into the picture, and Becky did this speech.
But I am reminded that I am not defined by one match. No, I define the match. And I am not defined by any title. I define the title. And I will not be defined by any man. I define the man. And so we start a new era, and we start a new comeback story, and it starts now!
Now, after this speech, something just switched in my brain, and it just, something switched in my brain, basically, and it just said, I am not my physical illnesses. I am not my mental health. I am more than that. I am joy, basically. And ever since then, I've just been motivated by the man. And I've been fighting for my happiness again and my health, to the point I love pushing myself in what I call my gym, which is basically a walking track near my home. And I love working on my diet. Yes, there's probably things in my diet that aren't good for PCOS or are not good nutritionally wise, but as long as I enjoy my food and it's healthy and it's not affecting my health in any way, I'm going to eat it. I've given up gluten and dairy at this point, so the only gluten stuff I have is a gluten-free Vegemite and wholemeal toast in the morning. That's as far as I go. But I'm loving it. I'm loving working on my body and pushing myself and thinking like that. Now, I want to iterate before I go any further. I was a Becky Lynch fan from 2016, just before she won the Women's SmackDown Championship for the first time. But now I've become more of a super fan. And her motivation has motivated me to fight for my happiness and my dreams and my successes again, to the point that I actually claimed a kid-like dream earlier this year, and that was to go to my first ever live WWE event, which was WWE Elimination Chamber in Perth, Western Australia. And this was a fight, because usually when I'm fighting for stuff that I want, I either get so close and I don't get it, or I self-sabotage and just give up on fighting for it. This time I was like, no, I have to go to Elimination Chamber, because last time when I were in Australia before that, it was Super Showdown and I missed out on that and I regret it. And I said after that I was going to go to the next live show in Australia, and this was it. Plus, as a mummy, a Rhea Ripley fan, I had to support her, being a fellow South Australian. So those two women were really motivating me to do whatever it took to get to this PLE. So I initially got tickets for me and my soul sister, but life situations happened which made her not be able to come to this. So I ended up having an extra ticket the night, which I could put my stuff on in the end. But I was still going to go to this no matter what. I got the tickets. That wasn't the problem. The problem was affording for the flights and the accommodation. Now, I know I could have got like a cheap hotel or something, but with my illnesses, as I like to put them, I wanted to be comfortable and in a room that like had air conditioning, as it was summertime there, and feel nice, and I deserved a little bit of luxury. So I was having a hard time raising money for that. As being on Centrelink, you only get a certain amount a fortnight, and that had to go on food, medications, board for my mum as I'm still living with her, etc. And it was getting closer and closer to the event, to the point it was a week out from the event and I still didn't know if I was going to go. And it was killing me, because when something I really want and I don't get it, it kills me inside. Not physically, but mentally, it just puts me in a dark place. And if it wasn't for Cash Converters same day loans, my soul sister's mum and her brother, who had recently had spinal surgery, and my own mum lending me money, I wouldn't have been able to go to this. So thank you to all those people. And in the end, because of that, I ended up booking my flights and my tickets. I left the Friday night before the event, so I didn't get in till I think it was 12 Saturday morning. And when you are someone that now knows sleep isn't important, yeah, my sleep was effed, especially with WA being 2 hours behind South Australia. So I was waking up at South Australian time, but it was like 5 a.m. or something. But no sleep for this was worth it. I got dressed into what I was wearing for Elimination Chamber, which was this. I hadn't bought the cap yet. And then I got a taxi to the event, or at the event, brought a cap and a program and my mummy's on top down under t-shirt, which I wore on the plane back. So yeah, and then I had the best time ever watching the man Becky Lynch win her first ever Elimination Chamber match, and watching Radelade's own mummy Rhea Ripley just annihilate Nia Jax before she would face the man Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. So this will always be a memory in my mind that will never escape. And I want to get a tattoo commemorating this, as obviously we put it as her happiness championship, because that was the first time in a long time I'd lived my life. I had felt pure happiness and joy like I had as a kid, and I just enjoyed life. It just gave me confidence to live my life the way I want to on my own and not have to worry about all my illnesses, and just to switch my brain off and enjoy life. I am promising myself that I am going to go to one live WWE event a year, no matter if it's in Australia or overseas, because this just brings me pure happiness and joy and just doesn't affect my health in one way. It actually makes me feel better, because when your mental health is linked to your physical health, and when you are stressed, you are just run down and depleted and have no energy, you will do anything to feel better. And these live WWE shows make me feel so much better. Even though I stress about travel and all that, in the long run, it's so worth it. So, like I said, I'm going to go to one WWE event a year, either here in Australia or overseas, no matter what it costs. And it's a bit better now that I have actually got a job that I'm about to start, so I can afford to do this a little bit more. I will have to work in with my job, but I just want to go to more of these. And yeah, another thing I really wish I had accomplished at WWE Elimination Chamber was meeting the man Becky Lynch, because this is my ultimate dream right now. That's why Hobbsy calls it her ultimate dream championship in her skit series, because the man has just given me so much confidence to fight for my happiness, my health, and to live life the way I want to, and just help me out of my own darkness, and showed people like me that have lost our own darkness and our own joy and kid-like wonder to mental health issues that we can do it. If she can do it, if she can win 2 belts at WrestleMania, I can at least get up out of bed, or I can at least be able to meet her in some way. And I want to thank her for this in person. That's why this is the ultimate dream right now for me. While other people my age are dreaming about having a family, getting married, buying their first home, being successful, this is the dream for me. This is it. I have nothing else. And I'm not going to stop fighting for this dream. The only people that can stop this dream is me and Becky Lynch herself. And I want to do this before she actually does retire, because I know people saying, oh, she's not there, she's not coming back. I feel like she is going to come back. She is going to take that time off like she's doing now, recharge her batteries, being a fellow Happiness Fighter member, and then come back better and stronger, because there is stories that she still needs to tell. And there's still unfinished business with a couple of people as well. And even if it's like with Lita and Trish just comes back here and there, I will take it. And that's why I'm trying so hard to make this happen now, because I know eventually, soon she will retire, and I just want to make this dream come true before she does. And that's why I'm fighting so hard to get to WrestleMania next year or SummerSlam, because I want to make this dream come true. If this comes true, I will be on the biggest, happiest high ever. Because this is the validation I need right now that I'm doing everything right in my life. I'm showing love and being kind, which with the Happiness Fighters Army, which I now know is my purpose and the reason why I was named Joy, is to show kindness and believe in other people more than myself. It's like my superpower, basically. Also with Hobbsy the Happiness Fighter takes on her rivals in WWE, making people smile and laugh and believe in themselves to the point that they can fight for their own happiness and their own dreams. Yeah, just meeting the man Becky Lynch would give me that validation that I'm doing everything right. And if this ever happens, which I am hoping it happens next year, fingers crossed, it'll just be like feel like a fever dream. It will not feel real. So yeah, that is my mental health journey so far. I am strong. I am a happiness fighter. Yes, there is still things that I need to work on mentally and physically, and I am not perfect, but that's okay. We're not all perfect. We have our own version of our own darkness that gets us down, and it's okay for it to get us down from time to time. It's just we can't let it take control all the time. So if this video has helped you in any way mentally, let me know in the comments. Let me know your own mental health journey and how your own darkness has taken over your own life. And also, if you are someone with mental health issues, as it is World Mental Health Day today, I want to let you know it's okay to not have your shit together. I don't. Like I have said, I still have days where I don't want to get out of bed. I still have days where I get frustrated with the world and feel like I am stuck and feel like I'm not going anywhere. But I use that to fight for my happiness, fight for my dreams, and be the strongest version of me I can be. And also take it one step at a time. Do that one thing and then build on it. Even if it's just getting out of bed, class that as a victory in your life. You've got out of bed. You did something. And because that's what I do when I don't have the energy or the motivation to fight. I'm just like, okay, I got out of bed. Tick. I've had a shower. Tick. And if that's all I do in one day and I doom scroll for the rest of the day or work on other projects, so be it. My happiness and my health is the only things that matter in this world right now. And yours should too. Also, if you are really, really strong, go seek professional help. It's not weak, it is actually strong to seek professional help. I know I'd seek professional help and it made me feel so much better. Just talking to someone that isn't a family member or doesn't know your situation even helps. I hope everyone is having a great day and is mentally strong, but if not, it's okay. And to those people, I send warm, snuggly, happiness, joyful hugs your way.